Lovely sexy hobby people, welcome to today's video, which is going to be the review for Dungeons & Dragons Adventure issue 77. We get our last, I think there's two in there, last two encounter maps with this issue. So come and join me on the desk and we will have a look through. Hey lovelies. Right, let's have a look at issue 77 of Dungeons & Dragons Adventure, shall we? It's two encounter maps with this one. Magazine. Let's have a quick look at the maps. Number one is some sort of chamber, heart of the cocoon. And number two is Cloak Tower. Cool. Multi-level here. That's cool. Shame they're not to scale. But there you go. Right. Exclusive new adventure. Fogbound cast cloud spells, improving combat actions, and from the depths, dragon, turtles, and krakens. Create a literal fog of war and take control of combat using cloud spells. For clouds and fogs, a sage advice, see spellcasting 16 in our red section. Certain spells might seem as if they don't require much thought about how and when they're used. Dropping a fireball onto a large group of enemies to maximise casualties seems like a no-brainer, after all. However, by carefully considering the tactics for a specific situation, a spellcaster might gain an extra advantage. For example, cloud spells might help you conjure anything from a simple obscuring mist to something more toxic, pushing your enemies to make difficult decisions. The size and shape of the cloud, also known as its area of effect, helps determine its tactical application. See Sage Advice C, Spellcasting 3B and 3C for more on this. You'll find the first level spell Fog Cloud in Spell Booklet Part 1, cantrips and first level spells, and the third level spell Stinking Cloud in Character Creation Classes 5. We've included new spells Cloud of Daggers and Cloud Kill at the end of this article. So utility benefits, control the battlefield and foiling obscuring clouds. So the cloud spell may aid you in and out of combat with stealth, ambush, distraction or obscurement. Control the battlefield. Clouds are a way for a spellcaster to manipulate the battlefield and control the flow of combat. Though they don't necessarily deal direct damage, they can tip the odds in their favour. For example, Hazard Zone, Forced Movement, Divide and Conquer, Choke Point and Protect Allies. Divide and Conquer, placing the cloud between groups of enemies to isolate them allows you to deal with one group at a time. That's handy. That's quite a logical thing to do, especially if, for example, it's a lasting, for example, acid cloud or something like that they can't pass through. Foiling obscuring clouds. If the battlefield has been obscured by clouds or fog and you can't risk waiting out the duration of the spell or effects that conjured it, you can take matters into your own hands. Strong winds, such as those conjured by a gust of wind spell, see Spell Booklet Part 2, can disperse mists and clouds of vapour. So Cloud of Daggers, so I'm assuming that's different to Flying Swords. Second level Conjuration. Its casting time is one action. It's a range of 60 feet, 5 feet cube. Concentration up to 1 minute, and it's a VSM, a sliver of glass being the material item that you need. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot at third level or higher, the damage increases by 2d4 each slot above second. And then Cloud Kill, is a 5th level conjuration. One action, it's 120 feet range and a 20 feet sphere. Concentration of up to 10 minutes, and it's VS components. Improvising actions, ride a dragon, knock the weapon from an enemy's hand, tumble acrobatically past an opponent, and more. Sage Advice D, Combat 2B. One of the most exciting aspects of Dungeons and Dragons is the number of available options when it comes to combat. We've already covered the attack, cast a spell, dash, disengage, dodge, help, hide, ready, search and use an object actions your character might choose. See Sage Advice D, Combat 2 for an explanation of those. But one of the best elements of D&D is giving the players opportunities to do something the rules don't cover. These optional rules are a good starting point for thinking about how the DM can adjudicate the dozens of improvised actions that players will dream up over the course of a campaign. And then in the red box here it says climb onto a bigger creature, option 1. Be honest, we've always wanted to ride a dragon, haven't you? If one creature wants to jump onto another creature, it can do so by grappling. A small or medium creature has little chance of making a successful grapple against a huge or gargantuan creature, however, unless the grappler has been granted supernatural might. Climb onto a bigger creature, option 2. As an alternative to grappling, a suitably large opponent can be treated as terrain for the purpose of jumping onto its back or clinging to a limb. Fair enough. Disarm. Instead of harming an opponent, you might want to knock a weapon or other item from a target's grasp. The creature can use a weapon attack to achieve this. The attacker makes an attack roll contested by the target's strength, athletics check, or dexterity, acrobatics check. If the attacker wins the contest, the attack causes no damage or other ill effect, but the defender drops the item. And then you can do things like overrun, special maneuvers, shove aside, and tumble. Character creation A, overview 27 in our blue section, changing subclass. Add to your character story as you refresh your gameplay by swapping out the features of one subclass for another. Think of your character class, whether they be Artificer, Cleric, Ranger, Rogue, Wizard or beyond, as your adventuring career. As you progress in this career, you have the option to further specialise by choosing a subclass. For example, a Bard might be well-spoken, College of Eloquence, a Born Dazzler, College of Glamour, a Font of Knowledge, College of Law, a stylish sword dancer, College of Swords, or a Master of Toxic Disinformation, College of Whispers. But what if you need a new outlook on life? You want to remain your current class, but your specialised subclass no longer suits you. With your Dungeon Master's approval, you can choose a different option in the same class. If you decide to make this change, replace all your existing subclass features with the features of the new subclass that are for your new level and lower. Whatever the reason for the change, you can create drama by making it part of the game. Even if your decision is based on wanting to embrace the mechanics that come with a different subclass, the transformation is an opportunity to add to your character story. For example, if you're changing a cleric's divine domain, are you ending your connection with one deity and following another? Or does the change represent a new understanding of the world as part of your continued devotion? Training time and sudden change. So training time. To change your subclass, your DM might require you to spend time devoted to the transition. As you study the ways of the new specialisation, the higher your level, the more there is to learn, with the transition taking a number of days equal to twice your new level in the class. and with sudden change. In some cases, a character undergoes a dramatic transformation in their beliefs and abilities. When a character experiences a profound self-realization or faces an entity or a place of overwhelming power, beauty, or terror, the DM might allow an immediate subclass change. For example, an Oath of Devotion paladin fails to stop a demonic horde from ravaging her homeland. After spending a night in sorrowful prayer, she rises the next morning with the features of Oath of Vengeance, ready to hunt down the horde. That's fair enough. Then we've got character creation backgrounds 18, and this is Fae Lost. I love this cat with the butterfly wings. A youthful trip to the plane of fairy means Fae creatures see you as one of their own. The Feywild stands only a hair's breadth away from the material plane, a mirror world hidden behind a mere twist of perception. Whether you wandered into the plane of fairy or forces manoeuvred you away from the plane of your birth, your time among the mercurial tricksters that dwell there has changed you. With the Fey Lost background, you grew up in the Feywild after disappearing from your home as a child. Bedtime tales meant to frighten the young often tell of children kidnapped by evil Fey, but your fate needn't be so dark. Perhaps you were spirited away by kindly sprites who thought you were destined for great things, or you simply stumbled through a Fey crossing by chance and were adopted by a clan of chaotic satyrs who value revelry and song over virtue. Fey Lost benefits. So skill proficiencies, deception and survival. Tool proficiencies, one type of musical instrument. Languages, one of your choice of Elvish, Gnomish, Goblin or Sylvan. Equipment, one musical instrument of your choice, a set of traveller's clothes, 3 trinkets and a pouch containing 8 gold pieces. Feywild connection, your mannerisms and knowledge of Fey customs are recognised by natives of the Feywild who see you as their own. Friendly Fey creatures are inclined to come to your aid if you are lost, in need of help in the Feywild. Fey Mark, you are transformed in some small way by your stay in the Feywild. Roll on the Fey Mark table to the right or choose an option. Feywild Visitor, a spirit of the Feywild might pay you a visit during a long rest if the DM wishes it. No harm ever comes to you as a result of such visits, which can last for minutes or hours, and you remember each visit when you wake. Conversations that occur may contain messages and insights or nonsense and red herrings. You can always understand these conversations even if the Feywild visitor can't speak a language you understand. The DM might choose the speaker or roll on the Feywild visitor table. Right, so the Fey Mark is a D8. They're both D8 rolling charts, and basically from 1 to 8 on Fey Mark, your eyes swirl with iridescent colours. You have a sweet scent like the nectar of honey. You have long whiskers like those of a cat. Your ears are covered with soft tufts of fur. Your skin sparkles in moonlight. Flowers either bloom or wilt, your choice, in your presence. Your hair is made of vines or brambles and grows back to normal length within 1 hour of being cut. You have a tail like that of a dog or another animal. I mean, some of them are great, some of them aren't. Feywild Visitor, awakened creature, a beast or an ordinary plant that has had the awakened spell cast on it to raise its intelligence score. A centaur, a dryad, a fairy dragon, a pixie, a satyr, a sprite or a unicorn. Then we're into our green section. Law A, locations 26. Undermountain, venture beneath the city of splendours to make your fortune or meet your end. Far beneath the city of Waterdeep lies the largest, deepest dungeon in the Forgotten Realms, and it's possible to tell the history of Undermountain. Sorry, let's do that again. And it's impossible to tell the history of Undermountain, as these sprawling, interconnecting dungeon levels are known without looking much further into the past. Where Waterdeep stands today, Aelin Thaldar, the capital city of the elven fallen kingdom of Ilafan, once stood. A powerful spell intended to erase all traces of the city created a permanent knot in the weave. This knot can cause madness in mortal beings who dwell near for too long, typically manifesting as an obsession with Undermountain itself. More than 1,000 years ago, the wizard Halaster Blackcloak and 7 apprentices journeyed from a distant land to the base of Mount Waterdeep. Halaster summoned beings from other planes of existence to help him build a wizard's tower to dwarf all other wizards' towers. Eventually, Halaster's exploration broke into the Underhalls, a complex of tunnels and rooms built around a mithril mine. Having cleared out the Drow and the Duergar, the Mad Mage tunneled on, indulging his compulsion by delving ever downward. There you go. So, what have we got? Yawning Portal. In time, the city known as Waterdeep developed in the shadow of Mount Waterdeep and spread down into the harbour. As the city sprawled outward, it came to surround the ruins of Halaster's home. An adventurer named Durnan delved into the labyrinth beneath the tower and returned alive, laden with riches and harrowing tales. Unaware he was affected by the same madness, Durnan built an inn named the Yawning Portal over the 40-foot diameter well he'd used to descend into Undermountain, actually the ruins of Halaster's tower. Today, Durnan uses a winch to lower adventurers down the shaft and sometimes pull them up with, again, at the cost of 1 gold piece each. Okay, so is that... Because I've seen on YouTube people that have made like a tavern where you've got multiple levels just surrounding essentially a pit. But they're all sort of like, all the levels are done in such a way that they can all look down into that pit. Is that the Yawning Portal? I'm going to have to go and have a look on YouTube again now to see what I can find. Difficult terrain. Undermountain is made up of a mixture of smooth workstone and rough hewn stone, with the occasional intruding natural tunnel or cavern. And then magical restrictions. Spells can't destroy or alter the shape of Undermountain's magically protected ceilings, pillars, columns, walls or floors. Doors and furnishings, however, are not protected in this way. Fair enough. Then we have Law B, monsters, number 69, trolls. Nice. These selfish, meal-craving monsters are infamous for their regenerative powers and bizarre mutations. Mutant mayhem. So we have dire trolls, rot trolls, spirit trolls, troll mutate, venom trolls, and troll amalgam. When multiple trolls fuse together during regeneration, the result is a troll amalgam. Amalgams usually form after multiple trolls are slain in battle or when troll body parts are buried together in a massive grave, though sometimes they're the result of twisted magic. On occasion, the worshippers of Varprak the Destroyer answer a call to perform horrific rite in the Underdark, which also results in an amalgam. Varprak the Destroyer. Though trolls are generally selfish, unspiritual creatures, some do venerate a figure known as Varprak the Destroyer, usually portrayed as a green, misshapen troll-like creature who is prone to mindless destruction. Varprak is rumoured to be fearful of the machinations of other deities. The Dwarven tale, the saga of Naldan Steelshield, claims Varprak came into being when Anam, the all-father of giants, was injured and his blood spilled on the ground. The saga goes on to claim that trolls were in turn born when Varprak's blood was spilled. Dragon turtles and krakens. Forget Jaws. Far more fearsome monsters glide through the waters of the realms, and these two behemoths are the most fearsome. So dragon turtles. Turtles, plodding, cute, good pets, right? Not in the case of dragon turtles. These monumental sea-dwelling amphibians are actually dragons and share a dragon's love of treasure, as well as the might to take it. And then krakens. These legendary tentacled terrors are even more feared than dragon turtles, and no wonder. A kraken is a primordial force, and the ability to warp weather, generate devastating lightning storms, and fling ships through the air. Few who feel a kraken's wrath live to tell the tale. Kraken lairs and kraken priests. Those who worship krakens as gods, either because they erroneously see them as imbued with divine power or simply hope to appease them, are known as kraken priests. Fair enough. Then we have our encounter, the Rotten Spire. There's a couple of ghouls there by the look of it. Encounter background: an alliance of humans, dwarves and orcs have banded together to launch a last-ditch strike against Deadhold, the stronghold of Kracia the Undying, a necromancer who has invaded the city of Neverwinter. Once a bastion of magic known as Cloak Tower, the ancient structure has been enveloped in a cocoon of demonic flesh. Now the servant of the demon lord Orcus wields the plague stone to sicken the city's defenders and raise them as his minions. The adventurers have just penetrated the demonic cocoon. All that remains now is to seek out the plague stone. Encounter goals: the characters must explore the cocoon's Cloak Tower and locate the chamber containing the plague stone, which is going to be our first map. And then the other map is probably going to be for next week. War map setup. So we're still using the war map on this that we've used previously. Exploring Cloak Tower. Cloak Tower features walls, ceilings. So this is our map. So this is multi-leveled. This looks like it's an under. There's a chamber under it, and then these come up and then up into there. So you go up here. I'm assuming we come in here. T1. You go up on this to the raised platform, and then up. Then you come down, and you can go up. This is weird because. Yeah. And then up to this platform and then up again at T7. So, pestilent fumes. So you've got polluted fountain, master's gallery, alchemy chamber, closet sentries, central staircase, scriptorium, heart of the cocoon. So T7 leads to the heart of the cocoon, which is the second map. We have a rock, large fiend, demon, chaotic evil, armor class 15, natural armor, hit points 104, speed 40 feet, fly 60 feet, strength 17 plus 3, dex 15 plus 2, constitution 18 plus 4, intelligence 8 minus 1, wisdom 13 plus 1, and charisma is 8 minus 1. Damage resistance to cold, fire, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. Damage immunity is poison. Condition immunity is poisoned. 120 feet, dark vision. Passive perception 11. Oh, nasty. Oh, and we have a closet. Now that's an ugly looking shit. Tiny fiend, demon, shape changer, chaotic evil, armor class 13, hit points 7, so they're quite squishy then. Speed 40 feet. Strength is 5 minus 3. Dexterity is 17 plus 3. Constitution is 10, so that's 0. Intelligence is 7, so that's minus 2. Wisdom is 10, so that's 0. Charisma is 10, so that's 0. They have a stealth skill of plus 5. Damage resistance is to cold, fire, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. Damage immunity is poison. Condition immunity is poisoned. Senses, dark vision 120 feet, passive perception 10. And yeah, it's just a challenge 1, 200 XP. Proficiency bonus 2. Cool, so there you go. That is that. Let's have a quick look at these maps. We've already seen the tower. So the cloak tower. So there's obviously an undercroft here of some description as it comes up, and then into that. All of this bit here, I would have thought was on the same level. This staircase doesn't make any sense, but that's that map. Again, if you wanted to, you could take it to the to a printer's shop and ask them to enlarge it as they photocopy it, and then we've got the Heart of the Cocoon, so which is that map. And again, you could take it to a print shop and just ask them to enlarge it to 1 inch to 5 feet, so that you can use it as is. Cool. Right, I hope you enjoyed that video. And so what are we on? This is issue 77. So we've got 3 more issues left after this now, and then that'll be it. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye-bye.